Welcome to another episode of the Flats Nation podcast. And a big shout out to Brother Dave Fader down Amarada for the awesome music. You can check out more of Dave's phenomenal work on davidfader.com. Well, this is your host, Dave Legier, and today we have a very special guest with us. We have Steve Pelini, who is the Vice President of Sales and Marketing for Bob's Machine Shop. Steve's been a help to me over the years. And it was really great to finally get a chance to sit down and have a Q&A with Steve and get an education on the Bob's Machine Shop product line. First off, Steve, thanks for joining us. I wanted to let you know that some of the guys on the site reached out to me and let you know that they just love your products.
Awesome. Glad they like them. You know, we work hard to make a good American product, so awesome.
Can you give me a brief history on yourself and your position with Bob's Machine Shop?
Yeah, so my family, it's a family-owned business. My father's still involved, and I have two brothers. We bought it in 2003. We grew up fishing Port Charlotte, Charlotte Harbor, shallow water, so we were no strangers to what a jack plate could help with. In 2003, old Bob wanted to retire, and my father was looking to go into business for himself and bought Bob's Machine. I was actually in college studying electrical engineering. My older brother studied mechanical engineering, mechanical for my younger as well. So it kind of was a fit. We all like techie work. So we came on board with the old man, and we've learned a lot about the marine world over the years and had a lot of fun with it, and seen a lot of growth in the brand. We started with 6 or 7 full-time employees when we acquired the business. We now have about 60 employees. And so I've seen the whole change from Bob's Machine Shop from where we started to where we are now.
Wow. I didn't realize it had been in business that long. You guys recently moved, did you not, to a new facility over in Riverview?
In Tampa. Yeah, we moved in 2019. We went from a shop that was about 13,000 square feet to our current facility, which is about 40,000 square feet. And, you know, you move into a new shop, it's like, oh, man, it's going to take us forever to fill this place up. And all of a sudden, it's like, man, we should have bought bigger. It's amazing how much growth we've had in the past few years.
I bet. You know, and I didn't realize this till I started really digging through the catalog. You know, how many products Bob's Machine Shop has basically grown and expanded to. And probably the majority of that growth has been, in the last 5 years? On the product line?
Yeah, we've had a huge growth. We've been growing. I mean, we've always tried to add at least one new product per year, but I mean, yeah, we've had a huge explosion these past 5 years, probably since 2015. So just over that. That's when we started making a big focus on the bass market, started growing our small product accessories, things like the deck plugs, the quick slips, the trolling motor prop nuts, the deck saver, all that is really added to our catalog and brought people back to us a lot more. You know, a jack plate, which are our main, that's our bread and butter. But that's kind of a lifetime purchase for a lot of people. You know, they buy a boat, our jack plate. I have so many customers coming up to us at boat just, oh man, I've had this thing for 20 years. It's worked great. Never had an issue. Oh man, how do we get you back in the door? So these small products have started bringing customers that know our quality back in to get new things added to their boats.
So they're actually taking their jack plate, moving it from hull to hull.
I wouldn't necessarily say that, but I mean, a lot of people, you know, boats aren't like cars. A lot of people do keep them a long time.
No, it's true.
And there are people that do have the ability to buy a new boat every few years, but to a lot of people, you know, they'll keep going until the transom's routed off.
Yeah, it's true. It's very true. So I'm going to assume that the jack plate was the original Bob's Machine Shop product. That was the genesis of the whole company.
Yep, that was number one, and the low water pickup nose cone was number two.
I remember that well. I had one of those myself. So how has the jack plate evolved and improved over the years? Well, the first one I had, if I recall correctly, was about 2004. And I know it's had some design changes since then. Can you give us a brief overview of how it's changed?
Yeah, So on our standard line, we've beefed it up. We've increased the thickness of the cylinder shaft. We used to machine out the pockets on the side real deep for saving weight. Now a lot of people are mounting power poles to the side, so we've put more material back in to account for the torque that's being bolted on and the forces that those shallow water anchors exhibit on the extort on the product. But a lot of the jack plate still remains. It was a really good design in the first place. So, I mean, other than increasing thicknesses, radiuses, cylinders, and hydraulic pressure, a lot of the jack plates remain the same for our standard line. But then we have models like our Extreme series, which have just a lot more robust engineering into it. Our new race series that has completely changed how jack plates are being made by us. We also have things like our 7 Marine and Mercury 600 jack plates we call the Ultra Extreme, which have multiple cylinders in them to handle the extra weight and be able to push that pressure and get those big motors up and down. We have our double, our triple jacks. We're probably going to be releasing a quad jack soon.
Wow.
So yeah, we've had a lot of changes in those parts of it, but the main standard jack plate, it's really been just minor changes because it was such a flawless design to begin with.
You have, correct me if I'm wrong, but you have 2 versions of it. Don't you have one that has an exterior, which is what I would consider the original one, where it has a remote pump, and then don't you also have some that have the pump and those components built into the housing itself? Correct.
That's our Action series that has the pump built in. And that's really become the flavor of the month, so to speak. Everyone seems to like that. It's just easier to rig up. It's a touch faster. I still like the other style too. We did keep them because we know we have customers that like that style, particularly guys, charter captains, work boats, people who leave their boats in the water year round. It's amazing how many barges jack plates are on. Once the barges get loaded down and they're sitting deeper in the water, they use the jack plates to bring them up. And they go offload at port, and then they drop the motors back down as the boat lifts up. So those type of guys really like that external pump that's remote. It's easy to work on if you need it. Everyone in the world has parts for it. It's a Mercury or trim pump, basically.
Right.
So a lot of people still do like that style, but for the enthusiasts, for the guys just boating on weekends, trailer boats, they like the Action series. It's just an easier to rig up product.
Well, and it's also a component that's sitting basically out of the water the majority of the time, so I can see where that would have some advantages also. What's the engine configuration that you can run on the flats jack nowadays? I know you can run 3, and you were talking about 4, but what's the maximum horsepower can you handle on those?
So our standard line of jack plates is up to 300, and our Extreme goes to 550. Wow. And then our Ultra Extreme is rated to 627. So we got jack plates for every outboard that are on the market ready to go.
And when you're doing those types of multiple engine, are you just using a larger single hydraulic cylinder, or are you using multiple cylinders to lift that much weight up out of the water?
No, we actually use multiple cylinders, and then we use a hydraulic flow divider. So we're able to have a single pump, and by going through this flow divider, it's an equal splitting gearbox, basically, that makes the same amount of fluid go to each cylinder, so it keeps them in sync to prevent any type of binding when you have the plate that's 3 feet long. So that's how we control it, and having the one pump makes it easy. So it's just one switch, one gauge to look at, so you know that your jack plate with your 3 motors is always 2 or 3 motors always at the same height, and it will be the same with our quad when we get just a little bit more of a robust pump.
Do the ones that use the multiple engines, Steve, do they also have a lighted gauge that I remember having on mine, so you can actually tell the height of it without looking backwards?
Yep, and we just released an NMEA 2000 backbone link. So if you don't want to install the gauge, right now it's only compatible with the Garmin devices, but Navico, which is Simrad Alliance, they're about to put out their update, and all the other brands aren't too far behind. So all you buy is the little magnetic sending unit that attaches to the plate itself, our NMEA link controller, and that'll go right to your graph, so you can see it on your dash without adding an extra gauge if that's the route you want to take.
Wow, that's interesting. So they can tie it right into their Simrad eventually. I've got to check that out. I like that idea. Talk to me about the True Tracker plate. That is a popular item, and guilty as charged. I help with its popularity, I guess, but that is really with just about any vessel out there has just tremendous amount of benefit. Can you tell me how that evolved?
Yeah. So, a lot of people, you've seen the things you can buy at Walmart, the Dolphin, that are kind of like a plastic flexing plate. So, ours is different in that it's made out of metal and it goes underneath your cap plate. So it's actually pushing up your entire motor. It's not just pulling it by the bolt holes. So it spreads the load out better. Since it's metal, it's not going to flex like those big plastic ones, which means a smaller footprint will give the same amount of lift. And there's not as much there to be dragged to hurt your top end speed like the big ones. So that's really the benefit. It's a smaller footprint while adding the same or better performance to some of the other models. And then some of our hydrodynamics, we have these fins that hang down on the bottom to encapsulate water, the prop to reduce props. Gain efficiency, speed, all that. And it's a really good unit. We had the casting, we just updated it maybe about a year and a half ago because some of these new motors, the factory calf plates have gotten a little wider, so it was getting a little tight. So we did redo that. Some other little changes within the casting. So it fits just about every motor out there now. Anything that's a 40 plus horsepower motor will fit our True Tracker. And they work great. They keep you on plane at a slower speed. They get you on plane faster. They help with steering. They help with flat hull, like a Carolina skiff type hull. They'll stop that sliding you feel when you're making a hard turn. A lot of benefits. Great product for $100. Hard to beat them.
Yeah, the return on investment is just phenomenal on that. And I've had that issue myself where I've had a flat bottom skiff and you go to make a turn and this thing's just sliding like an airboat till I get that on there. It's amazing the difference that it makes. The extra set of rudders, even at low speed. And when I mean low speed wandering. Some hulls just wag back and forth like a dog's tail when you're trying to crawl up the ICW. It's phenomenal what difference it makes for that. What's the metal that's being employed there? Is it an alloy or is it just aluminum? What are you using for those?
That's an all mag aluminum. Yeah.
What is the limitations on that product as far as horsepower and usage? Is there any, or because I remember that there used to be, it wasn't recommended to be used over 200 horsepower or an offshore situation. Has that changed any?
It isn't so much the horsepower as the application. We don't really recommend them for offshore as much because since it is putting such a large amount of surface area underneath your calf plate when you're going offshore in the rough water on the bigger boats, it's just a tremendous amount of force it's placing on your factory cavitation plate, and we don't want anybody to crack their factory calf plate and need to get it welded back together. So we don't really recommend for offshore. But I have plenty of guys run it with, the 300 racing motors, and they have no issues at all. On bay boats, bass boats, that type of thing. And there's no issue there. But if you're running, a 31 fountain or something, you aren't going to want to be running them and going in heavy seas. It's just too much force being exerted on when you're wave hopping.
I bet. Yeah. Talk to me about supply chain issues. What have you been facing there, and has it turned around any? How's that developed for you over the last, let's say, 6 months?
We were pretty lucky that we saw it coming. So we had a lot of extra stock going into everything, and we've been able to put out plans for keeping product in stock. But it's hitting everybody. I mean, the worst part for us has just been dealing with the price increase, but luckily we've been able to keep all of our key components in stock. But I mean, everything from cardboard. In the past 6 months, we've had two 15% price increases on cardboard. So, I mean, 30% in the last 6 months, which is just, given that's just our boxes, but still, I mean, as a percentage is crazy. We've been having a hard time getting wire. Our NMEA chips were actually backlogged for 50 weeks. So we just got our first batch into those. And luckily we took a very big order. And we have another order already outstanding for more. So I don't think we'll run out of them, but you're just having to take massive amounts of stock to make sure you keep in stock for your customers. And our biggest challenge with that really is just warehousing. Like I said, we bought this new facility and now it's just so full of stock, it's just massive amounts of warehousing to make sure we're able to get product out the door. But we've been very blessed that we have been getting product out the door every day. And, our aluminum is American-made aluminum, and we machine in-house. So a lot of our core components we don't have any type of issue with. But we have had to change a few suppliers on some little things, like our wire supplier, wasn't able to get wire. But again, very blessed that there are plenty of wire suppliers that we can go to and you call in favors to the right people and have kept us in good shape.
Good deal. Low water pickups. You guys started that long before I ever saw anything even remotely close to it on any of the stock engines. What is the turnaround time nowadays to be able to get one of those, the lower units sent to you and then sent back to the customer? What's that time frame
It's
nowadays?
about 2 weeks from in our door to back out our door. So at shipping time, most people would be without their lower unit for 3 weeks if you want to count, half a week to us and half a week back. But from when it hits us to back out the doors, 2 weeks.
Are you able to do those on any manufactured engine, or are you limited to just Yamaha, Mercury, Suzuki?
No, we've done them on everything. I mean, now they're defunct, which is a crazy story in itself. But we weren't able to do them on the Evinrude G2s. It would require a custom casting, which we just never saw the volume there to do it. And now, thank goodness we didn't, since they sold that motor off. But yeah, so we never did one on the 627 motor, and we haven't done one yet on a Mercury 600. But everything else out there, we have done them on, and they work great. So,
how long is that process taking as far as when you get it into the shop and get it up onto the bench? What is that? How does that process work?
So it comes in. We actually mark the gear case with a punch and die set with the letter set with the customer's initials. We sandblast it. They take it apart, clean it up, make sure they mask off anything that needs to be masked off. They sandblast it, throw the casting on, get it the proper spec. Some boats, they want the tip of the nose cone, a touch above or below center line for whatever reason, depending on application, or they just want dead center.
Right.
We tack weld the cone on. We drill the hole in the water cavity. We tap that. So we're able to get the external hose from our nose cones, pick up across to the factory water cavity. And then we do our body work, which is an epoxy fiberglass resin. And then we do an etching primer, sealing primer, and paint it up, and it looks like new and good to go.
It's probably, in some ways, a better paint job than what come out of the factories, for sure. What do you consider the features and the benefits of going through that upgrade process on just your average vessel? I know that it helps with low water pickup because I've had one myself. What about reduced drag, lower fuel burn? I mean, is there a return on investment there that over a period of time you're going to see it?
Oh, of course. When you run that prop close to the surface, you're going to pick up RPM there. So if you want it to be efficient or economically sensed, you can then dial back your throttle, maintain the same speed as you were before, and get some benefit there, as well as just running that lower unit close to the surface. It's less drag, so you're going to gain some efficiency there. And a lot of it is just, we see a ton of it in shallow water skiffs. They just don't want to damage their prop. Of course, props are ungodly expensive right now too. You're looking at $700 for a stainless prop. So it lets you just run up close to the surface, maintaining your proper water pressure for cooling your motor. And then you get the race guys that are doing it just for that speed, hydrodynamic benefit, and reduced drag. So we see it from both sides, the racing and the fishing industry. And I said, we still do a lot of them in-house, and we send out a lot of kits. So there's some good people that are doing some fab work in their homes and installing them. And I'm always getting videos. I'm always, man, this guy's pretty darn good at paint and body work. I'm always surprised. That's the hard part to me. Fabricating and doing the welding, that's not so bad. But getting that body work looking good, I give my team a lot of credit. They do a great job. But like I said, I've seen some pictures from customers that do it in their home garage, and they're artists. They're good at it. So if you're amazing. A handy person, you can do it. Yeah.
I saw a product in the catalog, stern-mounted water pickup. It's pretty unique. What's the use case on that one, Steve?
So, I mean, you can tie that into your motor. You basically block off your factory pickups, whether you weld a plate on them or just close them up with epoxy or fiberglass resin. And then you're going to run an external hose from your transom where you mount this transom mount water pickup to your lower unit. And that's for guys that are really doing some extreme stuff, that are really running like a surface mount prop or a cleaver, just you won't even be able to pick up properly off the lower unit. So that's why they're running off the transom. But we also sell it to guys that are using it for live wells, for all sorts of things, for rinse downs. Um, so it's just a little, transom mounted stainless steel tube. Pretty simple, but it looks good. It works good. It can hold a lot of pressure, flows a lot of volume. Great product. I think that's also $100. A lot of bang for the buck there.
I bet. As we were talking about earlier, I see the catalog's really expanded over the years. And let's cover into some of these sections. I didn't know that you guys actually made towing products. Is that something that's done inside the in-house? How does that product come into play?
No, that's actually a resale product. So, obviously we're all boaters. We all tow and like having good quality products. And we go to the SEMA show, which is the big Special Equipment Manufacturer Association, the specialty car show that's out in Vegas in the fall. And, we meet a lot of good suppliers there, from, switches to wires to whatever. I mean, it's just a great show for industry people. And we're walking through that show, and we hit the truck pavilion, and we saw, a dozen different hitch manufacturers. And this one Flash Hitches really clicked with us. We really liked their product line. We liked how they manufactured everything. And we decided to get set up as a distributor for them. They said they had no good marine distributors at the time, and were interested in working with us. And it's been a great brand, a really good product, really well thought out brand that we've been distributing for. So yeah, check them out on our website. Awesome line of hitches.
And what's the throw on that, Steve? How many inches can she go up and down? Or do you have different models for different heights? How does that come into play?
I believe we stock the 4-inch drop, the 6-inch drop, and the 8-inch drop. I have a feeling they do make bigger ones that we don't stock, but I'm sure we could special order for the guys that might need it. But those 4, 6, and 8 are going to cover most standard height trucks, the 2500s, the 3500s, the 1500s. But if you got a big old huge lift kit where you need like a 10, 12-inch drop, maybe just give us a call. But it's a great hitch, can handle all the weight we could throw at it.
Good deal. I see you guys have also moved over into trolling motor accessories. Talk to me about the quick slip. What? So that's how does that work, and how is it an advantage over let's just say the stock components that's on a Minn Kota or a Motor Guide?
So what they standard come with is just like a glorified wing nut, or a little hand knob that you got to turn. And when you're sitting off on rough water and bouncing up and down, trying to hold your trolling motor up and turn some little knob, 10 times, it can be frustrating. So we have a cam lever, a patented cam lever. It's stainless steel. So that just screws into the same nut that's from that little hand nut. And now you just have a 90-degree flick of your wrist, just a little quick slip to change your trolling motor height. It really makes the adjustments easier, especially on rough water. And that works with the bass boats. They really like it. I mean, it works great with the saltwater guys. Like I said, stainless steel. Great product, real simple. Amazing that it was able to get patented. I mean, amazing no one saw something that simple. It was great invention.
I see you also carry some power poles in the Charge product, and I have heard that the power pole Charge has been on back order for a while. Are you starting to see some of those coming back into the system now, or is there still a delay on them?
Sadly, we haven't gotten any at all. I'm not sure when they're going to be coming out. I believe just like a lot of people have been hit with some supply chain issues that's happened to them. They make one heck of a product. We love them. They're located less than 5 miles from our plant. So hopefully they'll be in stock sometime soon. Just unfortunately, I don't have any idea when that will be.
I also see that you're carrying some props now. Are these props that are made by y'all in Tampa, or you have another supplier for those?
No, these are PowerTech props. They're made in Louisiana. Really good prop. They private label for a couple of OEMs. Really, really nice prop. We've been working with them, I believe, since the late 90s. So, I mean, a long relationship with them. Steve Powers, the owner over there, really good guy. Marcus, he's my man over there. Great company, make a lot of good products, a lot of good props. A lot that are have equivalents to the Mercury prop. So if you don't know their line, but you say you want a Bravo, they have their BRV4.
Right.
So they have props that match up and are equal to the name brand Merc props at a much better price.
Any supply chain issues with those? Or have you been able to keep those in stock?
Not that I've seen with them, but I don't carry their full range, so I don't want to be speaking on their behalf. But so
Sure.
far, I don't think they're having anything bad. So, yeah, I know that they don't source anything out of Asia, so I think they're pretty fortunate. I don't think they're having any major issues.
I see that you guys also have some clothing now up on the website. Do you carry any tour shirts by chance for the guys that competitively bass fish, even on the club level?
Yeah, we got a new jersey. It's kind of a basic, just a Bob's jersey with our logo in the center and kind of a digi camo type look to it. So that's our closest thing to a jersey. A lot of people like it, and a bunch of guys fishing, the BFLs and the Toyota series, what have you, have been wearing them. So yeah, they're doing pretty well. Again, I won't call them a true jersey. We sell them as a jersey on the site, but yeah, our apparel in general is starting to get pretty popular, and we're happy for it. It means we're doing good things with the brand. So.
Yeah, this is true. This is true, and I see it's expanded quite a bit. So you haven't had supply chain issues with those, have you, or are you still fighting with that on those product lines?
No, actually, we've been pretty lucky on that. We haven't had any major issues on that. I'm sure, just like everything, there's price increases that are happening on it, but we take in good volume. So I mean, we try to battle and get our products for the best price to hold it as best we can for our customers.
And surprisingly, I saw fishing reels and automotive sports products that you're carrying. What can you tell me about those?
So the reels, that was us giving a shot with Abbott Reels for offshore. That's, again, a really good brand, made in America, made in California. We always like to work with partners that are made in America like us. And, we're more focused, I think, towards the bass and the offshore reels. So, I mean, it hasn't been lighting the world on fire from us, but it's a cool product brand that we've been selling. So that's the history with the reels. But the auto sports, that's my little passion project on the side there. I'm a big American muscle car guy. I had countless Mustangs. Right now I got a Resto Mod 81 Camaro.
Wow.
And at the time with Bob's Auto Sports, I had a 2010 Mustang. And I didn't like any of the solid control arms out there. So it started with control arms. So I got a few samples of different brands. I kind of took some things I liked from some from another. And made my first set of control arms was for my personal car. And I didn't know this at the time, but Muscle Mustang and Fast Forward Magazine was in Tampa. Actually, their factory is in the same parking lot or their office, right? The same parking lot as Power Pole. And I met one of the guys from there, and he saw these control arms on my car and wanted to do an article on it. And man, you got to start making these. You got to sell them. They're going to sell like crazy. Okay. And next thing you know, we're selling, hundreds of these control arms at a time. And so then I started making some other parts for my car and axle reservoir and catch cans and camera mounts and some other just little things and throwing them on the website. And it's amazing how many of them we're selling now. It was a lot of fun. But that was just a little passion project started and took off.
Would you say that the majority of your product line you are manufacturing or making at least the components there in-house in Tampa?
Oh, yeah. I'd say 95% of our entire catalog is made in Tampa, Florida.
So is it machined there, Steve, or do you have a foundry there? Are you casting your own metals, or how does that come into play?
Everything that's machined is machined in Bob's. Everything that's welded is welded in Bob's. All of our paint, all of our powder coat is done in Bob's. We have casting done in a couple places. I believe one is done in Ohio, one is done in Pennsylvania. We actually looked at acquiring a casting facility. I don't know if you've ever been in one, but they're loud and they smell bad. I mean, the amount of fumes and the amount of how loud the vibrators are to pack the sand casting. I mean, it was not for us. So we're happy to outsource that. But we don't cast in house, but we do. After we get the castings, we do machine them in house. Our hydraulic pumps, those we don't make in house, but it's our own patent, and we assemble them in house. A lot of the components in the pumps, we do make on our own. Our hydraulic cylinder for our flash jack, we make that completely in house.
Wow.
We do a lot. Like I said, we do our ceramic coating in house. The only coatings that we currently outsource are anodizing and our electropolishing. And we're starting to think we're getting at the volume. We need to bring those in house too. So we try to keep it all in house, and if we can't, we try to keep it as within the USA as we can.
What about some of these other coatings that you hear about, like Cerakote and some of those? Have you experimented with those, and how would they work in a marine environment, which you and I both know is just horrible? It's the worst thing you could try to operate in.
Yeah, we actually do the ceramic coatings. It's an interesting process. It sprays on like wet paint, and then you bake it like powder coat. And they hold up fantastic, excellent corrosion properties. The color's not quite as vibrant as powder coat. It doesn't have that gloss type look. It's more of a matte finish.
Right.
Still looks really cool. A lot of people like it. The only color we do for ceramic is the black. But it is a great product if you're in really harsh environment and you want to keep it looking good. Yeah, I'd recommend doing it. We charge $300 for it, but it's the jam. It's legit coating, very, very tough, scratch resistant. It's cool. It's cool stuff.
Wears like iron.
Yeah, oh yeah.
So what's coming down the pike? Anything top secret? Any new products you'd like to share with us to let us know what's happening at Bob's Machine?
Yeah. Well, of course, we do have a few top secret things. We did just get a plasma table, so we're working on some new flat stock type products, and I will let you know as soon as they are ready to go. But things I can talk about, like we have our race series of jack plates came out 2 years ago. We released them starting with a 6-inch. Last year, we released a 10-inch. Just this past weekend at the Miami Boat Show, we released the 4-inch version. And we're hoping by the end of this year, we'll have the 8 out, and probably sometime early the next year, we'll have the 12 and 14 out, completing that whole line of jack plates. Now, the race series, you can change the side rails out, and that's important for racers for the quick change. Now, that has a full transom plate, so the transom plate will be bolted on. Then you can remove the side pieces and change it if you need to, and get your different offsets. So it's a really cool product. A little bit different, like I said, since it's all bolted together as opposed to, a single solid piece for the side rails. Machined out on the sides is a thicker metal, but we machine out the sides to keep the weight down.
Right.
Really, really beefy. That's something for those offshore guys around, like the big skaters or Fountains or Nortex, so things that weigh a lot, or even the competition guys like the XCAD and the different, legit race class guys.
Any difference in the hydraulics on those, Steve? I mean, are they lifting the engine quicker or versus your typical?
We have a different pump that uses a ball joint on the top and different pressures for them. We do have a 24-volt pump. I know a lot of the racers want that, and we also have a high flow gearbox. We actually use the high flow gearbox normally for our double jacks because I said it goes to that flow device splits to 2 cylinders, so we need that extra flow to get it a little faster. So we put that on by request. Yeah, because some guys, they don't want it actually going fast. They want the pressure to lift the motor at 130 miles an hour, but they don't want to have it make too fast an adjustment. They don't want to tap the button and it goes up a quarter of an inch when they only need an eighth of an inch.
Right, blow it out.
Depending on the person, yeah, they want it different speeds. But you look at the drag boat, that they have their whole setup on a timer. It's basically you mash the gas pedal. There's a button underneath the gas pedal that sets your trim and your jack plate to go to a preset height, and those guys want as fast as possible. The second they hit that gas, they want things changing and changing quick. So everything has its purpose.
No, this is true. With the race ones, are you using a different type of hydraulic fluid in those than the normal, or is it still?
No, it's the same fluid. Yeah, we use a Lucas Marine ISO 32 hydraulic fluid, and they actually didn't have that product until we came to them. One of our pro staff, I'll give a shout out to Bill McDonald, who's the big Lucas sponsor guy. He's the guys, you got to change to Lucas. You got to change. So finally went to them and said, all right, well, this is the fluid we need. They didn't make it, so they actually formulated it for us. And they know that we have a high-speed gearbox in our pumps, and they put in special anti-foaming agents, because that's a problem with the hydraulic fluids with a lot of them is you spin it up and it foams, and that causes an issue with the hydraulics. So they put special agents in, and they formulate it just for Bob's, actually. And, really cool company. I'll give a big shout out to Lucas as well, and thank them for doing that for us and our customers and making a great product.
So now, is it a petroleum-based or a synthetic-based fluid?
I believe everything they do is synthetic based, but I'm actually never really thought about that in terms of the hydraulic, but I believe it's synthetic.
Anything else you'd like us to know about, Steve, that's coming down the pike that everybody would be interested in?
Our biggest problem, especially these past 2 years, has just been getting production out the door. So we've been so focused on, over the past, 15 months, we bought 7 new CNC mills. We bought a new larger powder coating booth and oven, and we're putting as much as we can back into the company. So people, if you're buying jack plates, even with all this, we've still been seeing a backlog. Make sure you order them early and be patient. We appreciate it. Like I said, we're an American brand, an American company. We appreciate all the support for everyone, and hopefully we can start building more jack plates and getting them out the door faster for everyone. I mean, that's been our biggest hangup is just we're in such demand, we can't get them up out the door. So hopefully we'll be able to start keeping up a little better this year. Like I said, we made such a big investment over the past 15 months, and I think it's going to pay off.
Well, I'm sure it's been a double-edged sword for you between the COVID causing issues with supply chain and then demand. I mean, boat sales just, as you well know, just gone through the roof. You can't keep up with it. I can see that would be a real problem keeping components in line, and I'm sure there's a lot of these that your jack plates alone that are pretty much standard equipment on a lot of these hulls. That's just the way it's built.
Yep. Yeah, we supply OEM to a lot of guys, and they have supply chain issues there, and it seems like the most they're having issues with are motors. It seems that nobody can get motors and get boats out the door. And I get to travel to all these different shows, and I was at the Houston Boat Show beginning of January. Normally that fills up the entire energy center down there, and it was 2/3 cars. I said, "What's going on?" They said, "Well, no one had inventory to bring to the show, so I had to figure out a way to make it happen." And then last week I was at the Miami Boat Show, which is normally you see 500 boats. Maybe not that many. We see a couple hundred boats outside the convention center there, and there was pretty much nothing. I mean, it seems like nobody has stock. And you talk to all these boat builders, and they're sold out. At least till 2023, but a bunch more time, and they're sold out through 2024. So
it's amazing.
It's a different world right now. So everybody's just backlogged, and yeah.
So how do customers find your site, and what support options, if somebody needs support? I dare say that your warranty failure rate is probably nominal, if very, it's probably very low percentage. If they need to contact somebody, how do they go about such?
So our website's bobsmachine.com, just BOBSMACHINE.com. On the website during regular business hours, we do have the live chat feature. So if you're not a big talker, you want to do it, while you're, just have a screen open on the side at work, whatever. We have live chat there. People are always welcome to call and talk to our tech support. We have a couple of really, really great techs there, know everything that there is about not only Bob's, but just boating and fishing in general, and can get you set up for what you need. Phone number 813-247-7040. 1 for sales, 2 for tech support. The final option is just shoot info@bobsmachine.com, an email with your issues, and we're happy to get it figured out, or just talk you through what your boat's doing and how we can make it better. A lot of people still don't know jack plates exist, and
that's amazing.
It's been a lot of education to the world. Yeah,
it's amazing. Now, do you have different URLs for your dealer body versus customers, or do you have them coming in through the same funnel? How does that work?
Yeah, they all come in through the same funnel. We're actually just making a big investment in a new software, a new ERP software that's going to integrate everything a lot better. It's going to be a direct integration from our website to our order system, and we think that'll make it real easy to get orders into our production team faster and get them out the door quicker for you guys.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, Steve, I appreciate the fact that you joined us. It was great talking to you. It was great hearing how you guys have grown, and it's very impressive. I mean, I haven't even had a chance. I need to come up and see the new facility, which you're already outgrowing that. So, I mean, what is your future plans? Do you have enough property there to grow the current facility, or are you actually looking for another
No,
facility location?
we're actually in for another facility. We probably move warehousing and shipping off to there. So it's just a continuous growth and learning cycle for us all, and it's been a fun ride. So yeah, and we appreciate everything you guys do for us. And again, it's been fun to watch it grow from a little company into what it's gone into.
It's amazing. Yeah. And made in Florida, which I always love.
Heck yeah.
Steve, thanks for joining us. I appreciate it. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to coming up there and taking a tour and getting some pictures and some other content. I need to get up there. I know we've been talking about it for a while. It's my bad. But we'll do it soon because I'm really interested in seeing how the new facility is laid out, even though you're outgrowing it. And I think that's wise to be able to take another facility and just use it for warehousing and shipping, and then leave your current one just for production. I'm sure you'll probably outgrow that one too at this rate.
I'm telling you, it's been wild. So hopefully the economy keeps up. Hopefully this possible Russian war doesn't happen, and we can all just keep enjoying our time on the water and having fun.
Amen. Well, Steve, thanks for joining us. I appreciate it, and looking forward to chatting with you soon on some other product lines as you come out with them, and or doing a deeper dive on some of your current existing products. Really looking forward to that. So thanks for joining us, and thanks for taking the time. I do appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thanks so much. Talk soon.
Thank you. Well, we hope you enjoyed our show today and found it both educational and entertaining at the same time. If you or your company would like to join the team on Flats Nation for a podcast or other coverage, feel free to drop us a quick note at info@flatsnation.com. And now, here's the rest of the song to run the skiff back home with. Tight lines and God bless.